What's up, everybody? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Thursday, August 3rd, 2017. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the busiest lady in the business, Andrea Renee.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm excellent.
I like this cat mug. I was talking about it before we went on. I want to reiterate that I like this cat mug. I appreciate that you're so committed to Kinda Funny. You've begun moving in your own mugs here. That means a lot to me.
I was here 4 days this week.
That's crazy. That's crazy. You still have one more tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. God.
Coming back for more.
And you're doing Gamescast this afternoon.
That's right.
If you support us over on patreon.com/kindafunnygames, of course, you have the ability to watch that live this afternoon. If you want to watch it later, it's on Patreon Friday and then YouTube the next week for free, so you don't have to give us money. Don't worry. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for doing all this work.
Absolutely.
Sorry, Danny's such a deadbeat.
Yeah, that guy gallivanting around the world, interviewing game developers and stuff.
Whatever. Well, we got a big show for you, ladies and gentlemen. If you didn't know, this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday on a variety of platforms, we dive into the nerdy video game news you need to know about, get really in-depth with it, give opinions, give stuff, give away things. I don't know. If you want to know more about it, you should be part of the show, kindafunny.com/KFGD. You can watch it, of course, on youtube.com/kindafunnygames later, podcast services around the globe, or live as we record it, like so many of you are on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames right now. Sorry for the false start. What am I talking about? If you're watching or listening later, you'll never know. You should have been here live. For now, though, let's begin the show with what is, and forever will be, the Roper Report. I was wondering what Cool Greg, time for some news. I was like, there's no way Kevin didn't have a plan for the Roper Report jingle. Cool Greg's got a little audio box over there like that. There are 5 items on the Roper Report.
A baker's dozen.
Nailed it. Good job, Cool Greg. You're on fire today, Cool Greg. I love it. I love it. We're going to start over on the PlayStation blog. August tops PSN downloads have been posted. We're going to talk about PS4 games and PSVR games. Rest in peace, Vita. Andrea,
yes,
number
Greg.
1 PlayStation 4 game download for the month of August, Crash Bandicoot, Insane Trilogy.
Congratulations, Vicarious Visions.
Can this game be stopped? I can't. And it was the same in the UK. It was, it charted incredibly well last month based on 2 days of sales. What the hell?
I mean,
I thought only Tim cared about this stupid thing.
I'll be honest and say that I was also pretty skeptical about how well this would sell through. Clearly, it was going to do at least a couple 100,000 units.
Yeah.
But I would never have imagined that it would, crack, like the 2 million mark.
I thought it was totally screwing itself over in terms of sales and the fact that it was coming out so late in the month, right? In terms of charting, where it's going to be in terms of July and August sales. But to see it destroy July and then continue into August, you're like, holy shit, this thing is insane.
Yeah,
literally.
Congrats. And I think this, really kind of paves the way for more classic games to be rebuilt. I'm of the philosophy that there's so many great new games that I don't generally spend my time playing older games.
Sure.
But I mean,
there's
with
some
numbers like
for
this,
it, right? Yeah, exactly. Rob writes in to kindafunny.com/KFGD just like you can and says, with Crash Bandicoot being the number 1 most downloaded game this month on PSN, is this just a sign of a slow month for releases, or is the Bandicoot hype real? It's a great question. If you see what happens afterwards, right? Number 2, Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor Game of the Year Edition. Number 3, God of War 3 Remastered. Number 4, Friday the 13th the game. 5, Rocket League, Grand Theft Auto 5, Minecraft, PlayStation 4, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare Remastered, Ratchet & Clank, EA Sports, UFC 2. It is Crash Bandicoot standing out as, hey, I am the new game.
Right.
I am the thing that it wasn't out in any of the other months, even though I'm not sure about UFC 2, how long that's been out. Never heard anyone talk about that. Never heard anything else. If you're watching live, of course, you can correct us at kindafunny.com/you're wrong. Don't pull the trigger yet. Andrea's clearly working on the release date for UFC 2.
March 15th, 2016.
Okay, so that was just a sale. So, I mean, to Rob's question, I think it's a mixture of both. I think it's very much the right time to release this game, clearly, and I think that the hype is real, because it's also, going out in terms of physical releases, how well it's selling. We're seeing it on NPD. We're doing it's moving units outside of just here.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a testament to Activision's ability to really put their marketing powerhouse behind titles.
Yeah.
This game clearly is ripe for a digital release. I wouldn't have thought that they would have wanted to spend the production resources making a retail box for this. But it's a nostalgic game. A lot of people have a lot of love for Crash in this franchise.
And that's what I think. I think it's a mix of both, where I think that, the fact that you can't get it in stores or it's so hard to find as far as a physical copy is the fact that I don't think they made as many as they probably should have.
Right.
You got to play it safe. You want to stay profitable. But then it's also the fact that, people love it, but there isn't that much out. It's a great time to release it, apparently, because there are all these other games people are playing. Friday the 13th jumps out at me in terms of like, hey, here's a newer game people are still invested in, but they're ready for something different. They're ready for this remastered thing that the fans like Tim have been waiting for forever.
Absolutely. And I think also, July is a great time to dig into your pile of shame, your backlog. Games that, you maybe bought or purchased previously early in the year that have just been sitting on your shelf or in your library on your console or your PC or whatever. And so maybe they didn't buy a new game, and that also helped lift it to the number one spot.
Yeah.
But this is just for...
This is just August. This is PSN downloads for the month of August. I believe these are US PSN numbers. Over on the UK PSN number, there's a crash at the top as well. Brady writes in kindoffunny.com/KFGD and says, Greg and Andrea, with PlayStation's list of top downloads released, I was surprised to see Ratchet & Clank still in the top 10 at number 9. I went back and saw that it was number 17 in June and not listed in May. Does this uptick, along with the return of Crash and Yooka-Laylee's arrival, signal a return to 3D platformers? What other platforms do you think will likely see return? Spyro, Donkey Kong, Jak? Thanks for all you do. Keep up the good work. Back to what we were just talking about in terms of the competition for Crash, I think what this signals at Ratchet & Clank at 9 is the fact there was a sale.
Right.
That there was something, you get Ratchet & Clank super cheap, and Ratchet & Clank was a fantastic game you need to get. What Crash's success means for things like Spyro is really fascinating. When we were leading up to this, and Tim was all about save the Bandicoot saved, all that jazz, and people were, and Double D Doherty was in here, super stoked about Crash. I'm like, great. They're clearly finding success, that there are people there. And I was talking to Jen last night, and Jen's like, if they put out a Spyro, that's the one I'll go crazy for. I'm like, all right, I didn't realize you people existed. I understood people liked Crash and they liked Spyro. I didn't think that there would be the amount of people out there to make these games, or Crash number 1 2 months in a row, get it on NPD, do all these different things.
Well, I'm sure there are fans of these older franchises that have just resigned themselves to never being able to get something new in that franchise again.
Yeah.
And hopefully this opens the door for that possibility. A lot of people have been asking for Spyro.
Yeah.
So if you thought Jen was crazy for wanting that, I think you just haven't been looking.
Probably. It's probably true. I don't listen to you babies wanting your baby mascotters. Can you do me a favor, and can you, I'm sure kindoffunny.com/you're wrong, sorry, popping off. Can you see what July's top PSN downloads were? I can't remember where Crash, if it crashed. Do you remember Crash was 1 or Crash was somewhere?
You mean June's?
No, July, right?
July. I thought these were July's numbers.
Wait, what month is it now?
It's August 3rd today.
Oh, then I screwed this up. So this is July's top PSN numbers, and I'm talking about NPD numbers where Crash charted as well.
Yes, so you want July's NPD.
Yeah, which we've talked about on this show before. I forget where Crash placed in that.
It's possible those numbers aren't out yet.
NPD?
Wait, here. Let's see.
Wait, so then hold on. We're caught in a time warp.
Yes.
Crash Insane Collection came out at the end of June 30th.
The very end of June.
Okay. So then it would be so now I need to know, end of June. I would need to know the top downloads for PSN in June.
Okay.
And then we'd have June NPD already, where Crash I know charted. And then July, we're still waiting on NPD for July. Man, because that comes out in the 15 area, right? The teens is when NPDs drop. It's all very complicated.
Well, the NPD for June came out, I think, July 2nd, so it should be coming out soon.
Okay.
But I'll see if I can find it.
God,
so the number 1
August.
PS4 game for June was Friday the 13th.
Okay.
Crash was number 2.
Gotcha.
Because it had just been released.
It had
Middle
2
Earth
days.
Shadow of Mordor Game of the Year Edition, still number 3. This is almost identical. Grand Theft Auto 5, God of War 3 Remastered. And then there was Minecraft and Rocket League are both on there. And then there was a bunch of other games. Battlefield 1, Horizon, Tekken.
Okay. And then where was Crash in the NPD for the month of?
All right.
June.
NPD.
2017. God, it's already August.
It is.
It's still, oh man, I feel like 4th of July was yesterday. I can't keep up anymore, Andrea. It's all gone, guys.
It's too crazy.
It's too much. There's too many games. There's too many things happening. While you look that up.
Number 1 was Tekken 7.
Okay.
2, Injustice 2. 3, Grand Theft Auto 5. 4, Crash Bandicoot.
4 NPD. Okay.
So number 4 overall.
Gotcha. This makes more sense now and why I was so confused. Thank you, Andrea.
You're welcome, Greg.
Thanks for sticking it out with us as we figure all that out. So I definitely think that people who own these old licenses, Activision in general, Spyro, this stuff like that, I think now they're definitely thinking about a Spyro collection, you'd imagine. But then do you think we're going to get a new Crash game? Is that what people really want, or do they just want this dose of nostalgia?
That's a great question. I think they want a new game. I would imagine after the success of this trilogy that people are like, hey, look it, lots of people, millions of people want this game, want this franchise to be back. But if they're going to get a new one, I don't know. Because like if you open the door to putting something new in such a beloved franchise, they could mess it up.
100%, right? And that's the thing is I don't know. They've been deprived so long of Crash, right? That when it's all right, we're bringing back the original Crash games that you already loved. We're remastering them from the ground up, as Sean said on stage, and then putting it out. I feel like that scratches the itch. But then we're talking about Activision, right? Like they like to make money. If they continue to see this thing sell well, it charts so well in NPD last month. It's doing great right now. And I think if you're seeing it right now at the top of the PS4, downloads, you have to wonder then if copies were in stores, it seems like it's going to be on NPD again.
Yeah. I mean, if it's in the number 1 and the number 2 slots 2 months in a row, I mean, I think we can expect it to be at least in the top 5 for August.
Yeah. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if they do it again. Let me know, ladies and gentlemen. Kindafunny.com/KFGD if you'd want another, because apparently so many of you watching are Crash fans. I need to know, would you want a new Crash or are you happy with what you got? Because they get a new Crash, this is the chance to fuck it up. Also remember that now that we're talking about August numbers, we got to make sure we get Patapon in there because we need a new Patapon. Patapon you can't fuck up. It's perfect, Andrea. You just get it out there, it'll be great. Number 2 on the Roper Report. Miss Cleo's people are suing Rockstar over GTA Vice City. This is from TMZ. I'm going to read their thing. Psychic Readers Network, which holds the rights to Miss Cleo, just filed a suit against Rockstar Games and others who helped make and distribute the GTA classic for allegedly jacking the image and Jamaican accent and slapping on their character, Auntie Poulette. In the suit, obtained by TMZ, Psychic Reader Network claims it spent well over $100 million creating and promoting Miss Cleo's persona over the years, and that Rockstar and company have gone on to make more than $500 million exploiting its character. They also say Rockstar even hired the actress who used to play Miss Cleo in real life, Uri Harris, and had her voice the character of Auntie Poulette, which is true. We broke the story that Harris died from cancer last July. A company spokesperson from Rockstar has responded to the PRN lawsuit, telling TMZ, quote, "These claims are entirely meritless and completely ridiculous. We will vigorously defend ourselves with regard to this matter."
Everyone wants to sue Rockstar.
I get that, but it's been so long since Vice City. It's not like this snuck out that this happened.
It has been a really long time, yeah.
Why the hell are they suddenly getting this bug up their butt to go after it, you think?
Do you think maybe while she was still alive, she did not want them to engage and that she was like, I don't want to be part of this?
Well, that's what's interesting.
And now they've waited until she passed and now they're going to go to bat?
It's got to have something to do with her passing, right? Because of the fact that they're talking about they hold the rights to Miss Cleo and that the actress who portrayed Miss Cleo also portrayed this character. So did they not want to sue her? Did they feel like, was there a defense with her being alive in the way of either she didn't want anybody to go after it or because this isn't her family's estate. It's them saying we own the character she portrayed.
There might have been something in the legalese of her contracts, her multiple contracts that prevented them from engaging in some kind of arbitration. I'm not sure. It's not surprising that anybody's going after GTA's money because GTA is making tons and tons of money. Yeah. So, I don't know. It's silly.
It's a silly lawsuit, but I can't wait to see how it pans out because it was very much her character. It was the woman who played Miss Cleo being this Auntie Poulette who was doing the exact same Miss Cleo impression. But then where's the line for that of the Verizon guy's doing the same Verizon guy thing in the ads right now for Sprint, right?
He's just calling Verizon out in the Sprint ads. It's really funny.
It's fascinating to see. I understand. It's just such a weird argument of the fact that first off, it's been so long. And secondly, to do it after she's gone, well, I don't understand. There's something here. There's some reason they decided to go after him now and not when the game came out and was actually relevant.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, though. I'd like to know. What's Miss Cleo's people up to?
Well, if someone on the internet has done some sleuthing, write into us. Let us know.
I wonder, do you think this is another one that'll just get settled out of court, or do you think Rockstar is going to go all in?
I mean, generally, Take-Two Interactive hasn't historically settled. They've won.
Yeah, exactly.
all of their cases.
Yeah.
So I'd be surprised if they settled here. If they did, it clearly meant that there was some kind of violation somewhere. But
yeah, it's going to get into the rights and who owns a character and what that means, right? If she's playing Miss Cleo, but it's under a different name.
Did we ever find out what happened with Lindsay Lohan's latest suit?
Oh, for that GTA 5's character looked like her?
She sued them, and then it kind of went away, and then it came back.
I haven't heard anything about it.
Oh, no, it says Lindsay Lohan's Grand Theft Auto lawsuit rules in Rockstar's favor. Surprise, surprise.
Right, yeah. I think Justine had a better case than Lindsay Lohan at that one.
Yeah, she really did.
Cover art. Speaking of GTA, though, the third story on the Roper Report, GTA Online won't stop making money. This is via IGN. Grand Theft Auto Online just had its best quarter ever for parent company Take-Two Interactive. In its quarterly earnings release, Take-Two reported net revenue from digitally delivered content grew 72% over the same period last year, with GTA Online leading the pack for recurrent consumer spending. Recurrent consumer spending refers to virtual currency, downloadable add-on content, and microtransactions, but it's not just GTA Online fans who are spending the money. NBA 2K17 also keeps bringing home the bacon for the company, both in recurrent spending and in overall sales, with 2K17 now holding the title of Take-Two Interactive's best-selling sports title ever. In prepared statements, I should say, CEO Strauss Zelnick teased a new game, quote, from one of 2K's biggest franchise to help drive revenue for its fiscal year 2019, along with Red Dead Redemption 2. Take-Two's fiscal year 2019 begins May 2018. Now we're going to get back to Grand Theft Auto stuff, still at IGN. The huge success of Grand Theft Auto 5 and Grand Theft Auto Online might be a double-edged sword. As of February, Grand Theft Auto 5 has sold more than 75 million copies. Jesus God. But in its financial statement press release, Take-Two said it has determined that it is necessary to extend the life of both Grand Theft Auto 5 and Grand Theft Auto Online for the purpose of deferrals. Rumors began to circulate recently about the inevitable start of Grand Theft Auto 6, but the actor whose resume was used as evidence has since denied posting the information, blaming an unauthorized third party for the phony info. With Grand Theft Auto 5 continuing to deliver for Take-Two, the company probably isn't too concerned about the immediacy of a follow-up. What does that do to you, Andrea Renee? As somebody who doesn't give a shit about GTA Online, this breaks my heart. Give me more single player. At least give me single player DLC for 5.
You know, that was really the surprising thing after seeing some really incredible expansions that they've put out for previous GTAs.
Yeah.
Why they didn't pick to do expansions around these 3 characters in GTA 5 was a little bit puzzling. It's kind of a head scratcher.
I wonder how much it had to do with the fact that, first off, Online being successful, but then the fact that it was such a struggly start. Remember when they did launch it, it was crashing, it wasn't working, too many people were trying to play it, people were getting pissed off, and it took them so long to put heists into GTA Online that I wonder if it was all hands on deck, let's get GTA Online worked out, and then we'll get to single player DLC. But by the time GTA Online was worked out, and granted they would have been prototyping, thinking about single player DLC, by the time GTA Online's up and running, they're like, wait a second, this is way more popular than single player DLC's ever been.
And it's like really raking in the money.
Yeah,
like
obviously.
So much money they're making from GTA Online, from all the, the currency that you can buy there. You know, I don't know. Maybe they were just like, hey, people are satisfied with the content that we're putting out with GTA Online. Maybe we don't need to use the resources. But they have so many resources. That doesn't really make sense either.
Yeah,
I mean, they have
Studios
so much money and their team is so gigantic. Like, they have a team that could make the single player DLC. I don't know why they haven't done it.
Yeah.
Maybe they still will.
I hope so. I mean, that would be at least a nice compromise in terms of like what I like out of my GTA games is that. Like, I love, don't get me wrong, what people are doing in and the worlds they're creating and the adventures they're having in GTA Online is awesome. It's just not for me. I'd much rather get like, give me another dose of Franklin or Michael or Trevor and let's see what's going on. Or introduce a new character in that world and let me play around in that. That would get me motivated to put GTA 5 back in. And maybe if you paired that with, GTA Online, whatever free double XP weekend, here's this new item, here's this new thing, maybe it would actually get me to try that again and get encouraged to play that.
Absolutely, but as evidenced by the NPD numbers we just looked at, plenty of people are still buying this game brand new as is.
Right, I know. And you were on the episode. You were on the episode, I think, where we asked why people were buying GTA 5. I think Tim might have been on the one where we followed up, where people wrote in and were talking about the fact that I was late to this generation. I've heard great things. I've been playing it on Xbox, but now my friends are on Steam, so I buy it there. And like the reason, even if I'm just jumping from a PlayStation 3 to a PlayStation 4, I know that game's great. I want to play it.
Right.
It's crazy the fandom that thing has and the success it has in the way that it just doesn't stop. We talked about Guild Wars yesterday and how they put out this, new DLC, but it's only appealing to fans. And it's like GTA can do that. They put out stuff all the time. Here's this new pack. Here's this new costume. Here's these new boats or whatever. And I see it. I'm like, okay, whatever. But for millions of players, that's a huge deal. And they get back in and they buy it 72% over last year in terms of revenue.
Absolutely.
Insane. Let's talk about another multiplayer game.
Let's.
Item 4 on the Roper Report. Friday the 13th has sold 1.8 million copies. I'm going to go through a whole bunch of stuff here. Stick with me. I tweeted this out late last night on my way home from work. The folks over at gamesindustry.biz have a great interview up with Wes Keltner from Gun Media. I'm going to pull some quotes here. What I want to do when I'm leading into this is the fact that this is a huge #Andrew was right moment.
Thank you, Greg.
Quote, this entire project has been a huge learning experience for both Gun and Ilphonic. We will be the first to admit that we weren't ready for the huge influx of players that hit us day one. Quote, we looked at our player numbers from the beta along with pre-orders and then added a 30% cushion. That's how we set up our servers and database for launch. We were so wrong. 100,000 players hit us up in the first 20 minutes and our servers melted. Our first weekend was chaos. The entire team slept at their desks trying to keep up with the demand. It's an experience I'll never forget. With our small budget, we couldn't afford a large-scale QA effort. We did a PC beta and gleaned a lot of great data from that. But again, we weren't ready for the tidal wave of players. Hats off to you. Because I've been in the industry 10 years. We've talked about all this stuff. I feel like I say the same things over and over again, arguments and whatnot. I hadn't heard people make the arguments as you did on this show a few weeks ago in the fact of so many of our compatriots say don't pre-order games. And then you said, well, people, if you do that, that's fine, but understand that pre-orders are used to understand what server loads are going to be. And I never really heard anyone say that, a developer say that, and then here we are a few weeks later. And so there you go. Andrea was right on that one. I never thought that through of like that is probably a great use of pre-orders in terms of what's going to happen. And if you're looking for an online thing, that's the way to go.
Well, it's not every game uses that data, but certainly games that have a multiplayer online component do. It's part of the bigger picture. They want to be able to, get enough discs into stores if it's a retail release, and then of course, have their server load ready on day one launch. So, and a lot of times with pre-orders, you get some cool bonus content, and there are valid arguments against pre-orders as well. I'm not trying to pretend like those don't exist, but my stance has always been if you like a game and you want to pre-order it, there's no harm in pre-ordering a game.
Yeah, if you've already seen, and that's always been my argument with it, where I feel like it's the games that are under the radar that they don't put out early copies to, and you don't see preview events, and where it's like, wait, why is this so wrong? And why are we not seeing stuff? I feel, and granted, we're incredibly privileged to go to E3 and go to PAX and talk to the developers and have them come by and blah, 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 blah. By the time we get to a release date, I usually am pretty sure I'm going to like this game. I'm not going to like this game. This game doesn't look right. This game looks great. I think one of the rare exceptions recently was Mass Effect Andromeda, where I went and did the Mass Effect Andromeda preview, and they ran it on PC. Obviously, it's super high specs or whatever. And I was like, it was just the first 40 minutes or whatever. You know what I mean? Like the whole opening, playing through the first planet. And I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. And it was like, you got on console, you got deeper into the game, you didn't have those specs. It was like, oh, there's problems here in terms of like actual performance issues that I wouldn't have caught based on a preview event. Oh,
absolutely. And those things completely exist. And I'm not here to deny that. And so, my stance has always been, if you are a conservative game purchaser and you have a limited budget and you don't want to risk buying a game that's potentially broken, has launch problems, or isn't as good as you thought it was, then wait, don't pre-order. But, if you have the ability to, and it's a franchise you love and it's bonuses that you're interested in, then go for it.
Continuing on with this gamesindustry.biz article, the author continues, it's a good thing that profits started coming in as Gun Media had to reinvest in QA to address the server problems, and that's an investment that continues to this day as the problems are still not completely ironed out. Back to the Gun Media's Wes Keltner quote. As the player count continued to rise, a memory leak became apparent, which was difficult to find until the build went out into the wild and hundreds of thousands of players began playing. This showed up primarily on the Xbox SKU, and we shifted our efforts to finding where this leak was occurring. We released a patch recently that helps, but it's still not a 100% fix. We've brought on 2 other teams to help us locate the source, and our partners at Microsoft and Epic, UE4, are helping us right now try to figure out what's going on with that. Then, looking through here, I feel like something went wrong. Yep, I don't know. Oh, you dropped this in there. That's what's happening. Okay, hold on. Number 5 on the Rope Reports here. I'm going to save it. We're saving it, right?
Yes.
Because then I want to jump into a question from Charles J., who wrote into kindoffunny.com/KFG and said, "Greetings, Greg and Andrea. The top 20 best-selling games on the PSN were just released, and of course, Crash won't take a break. But if we look past number 2 and number 3, which were sale items, we see, once again, Friday the 13th. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Dead by Daylight hasn't ever been on these charts since it came out. Yet this keeps being so high on the list. Very similar games, but to my knowledge, Dead by Daylight doesn't have the reputation for being, let's say, a bit wonky. Why do you think Friday the 13th being so high, even though it gets worse press than Dead by Daylight? Is it the name? Is it Greg Miller? Is it that any press is good press? Additionally, Andrea is awesome. Great to have her on here, and she brings perspectives and energy to the table. Hard to believe she's only 21 years old with all that knowledge." It's interesting you bring this up, Charles, because I think it's a number of things you just said, but we'll get to that in a second. Not me, by the way. But I think you jump back to the article here where they're talking to Gun Media guy. He says, quote, "I think that there are 2 reasons for this." He's talking about why the game was so successful based on the reviews were so bad. Early access and content creators, YouTubers and streamers. In my opinion, these are the 2 biggest disruptions in our industry, with Twitch probably being the biggest game changer. 5 years ago, publishers would be frantically hiring mock reviewers to try to get a good estimate of what their Metacritic score would be. Today, we have meetings and ask the entire team, does our game stream well? He adds, as for reviews and feedback, many of the low scores and negative impressions were based on performance and server issues and not gameplay. At the end of the day, it's difficult to rate a game highly if it isn't functioning as intended. So from a design perspective, it is great to know we're succeeding. Looking at every single one of those reviews, it becomes obvious that people like the game, they enjoy playing it. We can hold our head up high knowing we created a fun game. The challenge now becomes a technical one. Once the technical issues get ironed out, we feel like consumers will get to experience our full vision. There's also a rise in community multiplayer games, which only a handful of games are focusing on right now, and they are proving to be successful and a shift in the industry. So back to your point here, Charles, I think the name has something to do with it. Why is it more popular than Dead by Daylight? Dead by Daylight, I think, was a PC phenomenon, and it was one of those that earned a lot of praise and stuff there and has its own community. I think by the time it jumped to console, it jumped after Friday the 13th. And it's similar to what we was talking about with PUBG in the way that there's a race now. Can PUBG beat a Ubisoft mode for the Division that is PUBG to consoles? Because whatever people get there and they get their hands on, they get to play, they're going to be stoked about. And I think the fact that it's the name, it's the fact that it was here first, and it's the fact that, I think it is a fun game. You know what I mean? It's when you talk about, is it Greg Miller? I think it's back to Wes's point that it's early access, it's streamers, it's YouTube creators, and the way that the amount of times I've played that game and talked about that game, the number of tweets I get are exponential of, I wasn't thinking about buying this game, but I see how much fun you guys are playing it, or I watched your stream and now I bought it and here's a clip from me. There is this thing of, the game's far from perfect. It's not a 10. It's not, it's gonna crash. It's gonna do all this goofy shit. But when you're out there running from Jason or he's fucking killing everyone at the car, it's awesome. And there's something to be said for that.
Absolutely. And this is why I don't review games and why I don't give game scores. Because it's such a difficult thing to pin down when you have a game in the situation where the gameplay itself is really fun and I can see their vision and they're using this really incredible character who a lot of us know if you're a fan of horror movies like Jason and Friday the 13th has been around for decades. And so that aspect of it is really great. Did they have technical problems? Of course. There's no denying that. But that doesn't mean that it's a bad game. And sometimes when you get a game like this at launch and it gets a poor review score, some people are never going to come back and give it another chance. And this isn't the first game this has happened to, nor will it be the last. And it's challenging, especially from a developer standpoint. Them probably trying to tear their hair out, going, "Oh my gosh, we just weren't ready. Please don't judge our game because we just had so many people want to play it." I mean, that's a good problem and a bad problem at the same time.
Of course. So, but I think it's telling that what he says is true. I think where most of the reviews were, it's fun but buggy. It's fun but broken. Something's wrong with it. And so if they do iron that stuff out and people continue to play and continue to share, there's going to be legs for it. The final bullet point on this story, of course, is that there's a physical release of Friday the 13th coming to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One on Friday the 13th of October. It's $40. It comes with a Bloody Jason skin variant for all playable Jason versions and a clothing pack for all playable camp counselors. I think that's another boost for them, right? In terms of the fact that when you get it out there, you hope your servers are in line for how many people are going to buy it, and the fact that it would encourage that another wave of people wanting to talk about it, wanting to play it. And I was talking about it yesterday on Games Daily, and the fact of I was looking for a game to fill in these next couple nights before Cooking with Greggy and then before, Batman's next week. So I need something to do. And I was like, I'm going to try to knock out Night in the Woods. And I went home and played Night in the Woods for a little bit last night. Really funny, really interested. I'm down for where it's going. But I was falling asleep during it because I was so tired and it's just text. You know what I mean? There's no VO, there's no nothing. And I was like, all right, cool. I didn't make enough progress in that now to beat that by the weekend. I'm like, I'm just going to play Friday the 13th tonight because I fucking love that game and I miss it. And it's the everlasting gobstopper of I'm going to jump in and I know what I'm going to do and I don't need to worry about learning the rules of the game or what the story is. I'm just ready to go.
This is why live service games are becoming so incredibly popular.
Right.
Because they're the game that you can just boot up. You can spend maybe 30 minutes playing and then you can turn it off and go about your day or go about your night, go to bed, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, and that's what players are looking for. We obviously love narrative experiences and big stories and open worlds, but every once in a while you just want to have a little quick hit, a little gaming fix.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what it's interesting to see that start for me personally as somebody who's never been, I guess with the exception of DC or whatever, someone who is a live services guy, but to have Friday the 13th and Marvel Heroes on the cross media bar right now, it is that thing of all right, cool, I'm looking forward to these games, but I have a few hours to kill right now. I have 30 minutes to kill. What am I going to jump in and play and not start something and feel like I'm not giving it my full attention?
Exactly.
Very fascinating. And then number 5. Got added in here. Here it is. For Honor is getting new content in Season 3. I think it launches today, right?
No, it launches on August 15th.
Okay.
So it's called Grudge and Glory, and it'll be coming to all platforms. And it has 2 new heroes, 2 new maps, ranked play, new legendary gear, and more. The new heroes, the Proud Highlander and the Fearless Gladiator, will be available for free for Season Pass holders, while all other players will be able to unlock them in-game on August 22nd, so a little bit later if you don't have the Season Pass, for 15,000 steel, which is the in-game currency. It's the first step in the For Honor development schedule that includes another season in November, alongside plans to introduce dedicated servers at a later date. It will also bring competitive play, which a lot of people have been asking for, to all platforms with the introduction of 1v1 duel tournaments, and there will also be tournaments that will allow players to vie for higher rankings, which will reset each season and win exclusive tournament rewards. Competitive play will continue to grow later this year with the introduction of 4v4 ranked modes.
Another games as service. Continue to evolve.
Exactly.
This is back to what we were talking about. Like when we did the rundown of everything For Honor announced for their new season a couple weeks ago now, last week, it was that fact of hey, here's another way of doing a marketing beat where suddenly you're talking, it's not, and I'm not knocking how Guild Wars 2 just talked about their expansion. Hey, here's something we're putting out that's for people who aren't just our core audience. For Honor saying, hey, everybody, if you've walked away, if and that was the thing when they announced their, whole new season run, what they're going to do at looking for big picture for their next, the next year For Honor, them talking and going to GAF and seeing all the GAF threads oh, dedicated servers, I'll come back. That was such a big point for so many people who bought that game because we saw it sell so well and then walked away from it.
Exactly. And yeah, they're coming soon.
August 15th, yeah, right around the corner. But, Andrea Renee.
Yes,
If
Greg
I
Miller.
wanted to know what came to the Mom and Grop digital shops today, where would I go?
You would go to the official list of upcoming games across each and every platform as read by the Kinda Funny Games daily show hosts each and every weekday. Oh, Kevin, you're back.
It's stereo, Kevin. No, it's fine. Don't run away. You're fine. All right, out today, there's a whole bunch of stuff. Strap in. This Merchant Life comes to PC. ACA Neo Geo Aereo Fighters 2 comes to the Nintendo Switch eShop. Slime Son comes to the Nintendo Switch eShop. Gun Barrack for Nintendo Switch comes to the Nintendo eShop. Strikers 1945 for the Switch is on the eShop. Puzzle Adventure Blockle. That's right, Blockle. Nintendo eShop for Switch. Use Your Words on Switch, Nintendo eShop. Infinite Mini Golf, Nintendo Switch on eShop. Played some of that last night, that Infinite Mini Golf, because I'm like, oh man, I'm getting ready for everybody's golf.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Pop that in. Nope. Don't. I mean, I popped a lot of easy trophies, and I did that thing where I'm like, so many were popping, I popped out. I'm like, how easy is this platinum? No platinum? No, I ain't got time for you. You're not everybody's golf, and you're not an easy platinum. Voxel Maker for the 3DS comes to the eShop. Flight of Light comes to the Nintendo Wii U eShop. Retro City Rampage DX makes its debut on the Switch. Shovel Knight gets a DLC playable character for Blaster Master Zero. Sky Knights is on Steam. Final Fantasy 15 multiplayer Comrades beta begins today on Xbox One and PS4. And then Xbox backwards compatibility has added support for Epic Mickey 2, The Power of Two, and Toe Jam and Earl. Plus, Wildlands Trial is out there too. This could be a deal of the day too, but there's a free trial right now for Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon.
Yeah, I kind of tagged this on the end of the For Honor stuff too. So it's 5 hours on either Xbox One or PS4. It includes the entire base game with the open world map that can be played solo or up to 3 friends. And then after the trial, if you decide to purchase the full game, all of your progress will carry over.
And I want to give a shout out to Ubisoft for respecting the show enough to send us press releases and flag them for, hey, this is good for Kind of Funny Games Daily, which I like a lot.
Yeah.
Because I had added in the For Honor stuff here under the new dates for your stuff. Because, like I already said, For Honor, 8/15, Grudge and Glory. Then you got new dates. Neon Drive's coming to PlayStation 4 on 8/8. Gear.Club Unlimited is coming in Q4 2017 to Switch. They're claiming they're the first real racing game for Switch, and they it's got nice graphics and looks like real cars instead of all the crazy stuff before. Thumper is finally coming to Xbox One on August 18th. Rime on Switch is coming November 17th, 2017. Dynasty Warriors 9, not a release date, but they finally announced platforms for it, is coming to, you guessed it, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. And then, if you buy Yakuza Kiwami, you'll get DLC for free after launch. This is via GameSpot. Throughout the month of September, Yakuza Kiwami players will be able to download new outfits, consumables, and other helpful items at no cost. Sega says each batch of DLC will automatically be patched into the game following its release. Players will then be able to acquire the items from Bob Utosamiya beneath the Tenkaichi Street Gate. You can find the contents and release date of each pack at the end of the GameSpot story, so go over there and check it out. In terms of the deals of the day, I Am Setsuna is marked down, or usually $40 on the Nintendo eShop for Switch. Now, $26.79. $79. Andrea.
Yes, Greg.
Are you ready to check in with the readers?
I'm so ready.
We're going to start with Jared, who wrote in to kindoffunny.com/KFGD. Again, another pat on the back. Great questions for today. The whole week's been great. You guys have been killing it over there. Thank you very much. And I was also pleased to see so many Andrea questions today, where I just get to ask you questions and lean back.
Oh, well then.
Jared says, hello, Greg and Andrea. Although more specifically, Andrea, because I have a Paragon question.
Oh, yes.
I read through the Monolith magazine and can now barely contain my excitement for the new update. So I would love to hear what Paragon woman herself thinks about Paragon Update 0.42, the new Dawn, and what features you're most excited about.
So I had the very fantastic opportunity to play the new update, the new Dawn, in a private, in a closed alpha.
What does it do?
So
I didn't even hear about that there was another update for it. But again, this is like Guild Wars, right? This isn't us trying to talk to the world. This is us talking to our player base.
Well, and generally, these games put out patch notes semi-frequently, and they make tweaks and balances to the heroes and to gameplay and things like that. But this is a really massive meta change. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing that's pretty concerning for me as a legacy player. Ooh. So basically every card in the game, there's a deck building system, and the cards that you build into your decks affect how your character plays in the match. How you, if you have more power, if you have more attack speed, if you get mana or health or whatever, you kind of build your deck to complement your hero's abilities to help your team and to ultimately win. They've completely just thrown all of the old cards out the window.
Oh, that can't sit well with you.
So it's tough because I've spent hours of my life building decks for many different heroes.
Yeah.
And I've spent a lot of reputation, which is part of the in-game currency, on buying deck slots. And now the deck slots are different. You used to have 6 cards in a deck, and now you can bring in 12, but you can only equip 3 at a time. They've changed how you can level up the cards. Like, so the cards have a base level, and then you can spend reputation to level the cards up, but the leveled up cards only work in co-op mode,
okay.
Which I'm like, why would I want to spend my reputation leveling up cards when the people who have the most amount of reputation and who are going to be the deepest into the meta and the deck building system are going to be probably exclusively playing in PvP unless they're testing out a new hero. So I was like, that's kind of a head scratcher for me. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
And having to relearn every single card in the game makes me really, really mad that I have to like kind of throw these hundreds of hours that I've spent in this game and to relearn the meta. And so that's frustrating.
So at any point where did these changes, the anger, did it make you think about stepping away? Like maybe my time with Paragon's done?
No.
Okay.
Because
you're addicted.
No,
okay.
because I really like this game, so I'm gonna commit to learning it. The things that I like about the update is that they've increased the speed of the game overall. You move faster, you attack faster, and hopefully it means that the pace of the game is gonna go faster. When they originally introduced the Monolith update from Legacy, the idea was, hey, we don't want every match to be 60 plus minutes. Turns out it didn't matter. If you're against an evenly matched team, the matches are usually going to go at least 50 to 75 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, they're long matches if you're facing off against, an equal opponent.
Sure.
And so I would like to see, once this gets out into the wild, like how it changes the speed of the game. Now, because I was in such a small test group in this closed alpha playing, and I was playing against a lot of like pro players,
Sure.
It's hard for me to know what the balance is actually going to be like. Some of these cards turn into one-hit kill cards, which can completely break the balance. If you can have a hero who's essentially just running around the map like one-shotting people. And because your respawn time is tied to your player level within the match, you could be 15 minutes into the match having like an 80-second respawn time, and that's going to completely throw off the balance of the match. So I don't want to get too in the weeds of like the specifics about the jargon related to this game.
Okay. But you're not excited for this. You're tentative.
I'm tentative.
Okay.
Like I said, the group that we were playing with was such a small group. It's hard to know how it's going to affect the player base at large. Once thousands of players are finally playing this and testing the new deck system. So I'm excited to see where they're going. They've revamped one of my favorite characters from Legacy, Iggy and Scorch, which is like a caster character that is all fire all the time. And so I'm really excited to play with him again. But, I don't know. I'm really on the fence about how this is going to go.
Okay.
I need to spend more time with it before
When's
I get
it launch?
Before August 8th.
Oh, wow. We're right around the corner.
Yeah, so before I give a definitive, but I have stopped playing altogether because these are such dramatic changes to the meta that I'm like, why would I should not waste any more time because it's all going to go out the window.
Oh my God. Jeez. I can't wait for August 9th to see what you think of all of this.
Yeah, right?
Joko wrote in to kindafunny.com/KFGD just like you can and says, hi, Greg and Andrea. This one's for the busiest lady in the business. I saw Andrea's got an awesome Hearthstone card picture of herself and was wondering, is she still playing and how excited she may be for Knights of the Frozen Throne expansion that's imminent on release. I haven't heard any Hearthstone love, unless it was last week I was in Mexico. Thanks for all you do and keep up the excellent work. P.S. Greg, have you ever tried it? Keep ducking that chicken. You first. You're a big Hearthstone person too?
I haven't played Hearthstone in quite some time.
Okay.
That card that he found was created a long time ago, and I haven't revisited it, quite frankly, in a while. So I actually don't know what's coming in the Knights of the Frozen Throne expansion.
Interesting.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the time that I spent with Hearthstone, but I primarily played it on my iPad.
Yeah.
And then once I started paying for Wi-Fi on airplanes to play Hearthstone, I was like, what am I doing?
I have a problem. I need to stop. Yeah, we've all been there.
Yeah.
I tried it. It wasn't for me. I can't. The card games just don't click for me. There's too much math on the fly for me to think it all through. And there's always these, I'm not paying attention to this thing over here. There's this one variable I missed. And I'm just like, I can't do this. I don't enjoy it. Zach W. Carpenter wrote in and said, good day to you, G&A. We've all heard about how Metal Gear Solid was the game that had a huge impact on Greg and his gaming life. My question is for Andrea. What is the game that had the biggest impact for you in your gaming life / career? Thanks for all the daily game greatness, Zach W. Carpenter.
I think without question that game would be Rock Band 2.
Really?
Yes. So I'm going to try to keep this brief.
Okay.
Essentially, Rock Band 2, I was playing that game at a time in my life where I was just starting to get into video games media, transitioning from entertainment news, which is what I was originally doing after I graduated, and moving into video games. I was on a Rock Band 2 reality show on VH1.
Yeah.
A little known fact, you can still find it on the internet somewhere. I have the whole digital file.
Of course you do.
Because my husband, John Drake, was working for MTV Games and Harmonix at the time, and he was a producer on the show. And that's where we originally met. We didn't actually start flirting for like 5 years later.
Didn't he forget you? Didn't he even remember
that? He forgot that's how we met. Once we finally started dating, somebody was like, "Oh, so how did you met?" And he's like, "Oh, we've just known each other from like conventions, and I've been in PR, and she was covering stuff." And I was like, excuse me?
That's not actually at all how we met.
Do you not remember Pip, which was my avatar? Because in Rock Band, you had avatars that you could dress up, and it was Pip after Pippi Longstocking, freckles, red hair.
Yeah. Of course.
So it really put him on the spot. It was funny, but I still have my Rock Band 2 guitar that I used on the show because the show was Sebastian Bach and Alice Cooper having a battle of the bands, and the contestants were all vying for a chance to be in one of their bands, and I was selected to be the lead guitarist in Alice Cooper's band.
Damn right you were.
Made it to the finals. Got second place. It was a fucking heartbreaker.
Man, your career would have been on a fast track if you got first place.
Really, it was the song selection that did
what
us
did they
in.
give you?
Well, it was fun listening to Alice Cooper sing Pinball Wizard on stage at the Viper Room.
Yeah, I can
in Los
imagine
Angeles. It was excellent,
yeah.
But it was nothing compared to Sebastian Bach singing "Hello, Ladies and Gentlemen." So Cheap Trick.
Yeah.
It was good. It was a fun time, but that game really kind of defines not only like something really personal for me, and like that's where I met my husband, but also like that was the time when Rock Band 2 was coming out. That was the first year that I covered E3. That was like the start of my career in video games media.
That's
and
awesome.
I forever look back on Rock Band 2 with nothing but love.
Is your guitar like mounted in the house now somewhere?
It is. It's in our studio, in the What's Good Game studio.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Halo5208 wrote into kindoffunny.com/KFGD. Just like you can, it says, "Hey, Greg. I'm trying to decide whether or not upgrading to the PlayStation 4 Pro is worth it. I don't have a 4K TV or that fancy HDR junk, but my current PS4 is slowly dying, as it sounds like a small jet engine attempting to take off from the corner of my room. The white PS4 Pro bundled with Destiny 2 caught my eye, but carries a hefty price tag for a college student. Is it worth upgrading to the Pro, or am I better off picking up the cheaper PS4 Slim?" I say go Pro. My whole thing is like, now that there's a better version out, if I am to buy a PlayStation 4, I'm going to buy the Pro. It's $100 extra. It future-proofs you. It does run the menus quicker. It's got the better internet on it. Like, I understand you're in college, so that might vary it. But if it's $100, right? Like, you can not drink beer for a couple weekends, and there you go.
Yeah, at this point, if you're going to buy one or the other, save up the extra money however you can. Pick up a side hustle if you need to.
Yeah.
Get the Pro. Future proof is the best argument for that.
Yeah, because you're going to have this another, a few years, knock on wood, and so
hopefully at least another 5 years.
Exactly. Yeah, well, I'm thinking before like the next, like you're talking about 2 days ago, when the next console generation really begins, and even then you'll still be playing cool stuff on it. Yeah, you need it. Trey Omega wrote in and said, "Konnichiwa, Greg and Andrea. This question is more for Greg and the trophy hunters out there. I love trophy hunting, and getting screenshots for each one can be fun. But have you ever set up or tried to set up a platinum screenshot? I found some trophy screenshots can be complete garbage because of the slight delay some games have when unlocking trophies." So he's talking about, when you pop a trophy and it automatically takes the shot, and the fact that so often it's a black loading screen because nobody thinks it through or whatever. And when it is 1,000%, I've done that, where I think it was even Horizon, maybe, when I knew that I was like, all right, cool, I had to knock down this last one of the test dummies or whatever.
This hits me deep. That's the only platinum I've ever gotten, and it never popped because I had 3 glitched trophies. You remember me telling you that
I remember they reached out on Twitter, though. Was there just nothing they could do?
No, I never got the platinum. I guess I could go try to resync and see if it actually pops.
Sure. No. Yeah.
But yeah, so black screens, huh?
Yeah, because because it does it automatically now, which is like kind of nice, but kind of garbage because it just takes whatever. What I did for Patapon, of course, is that when it popped, I hit the share button so that I wanted it my way. I didn't want it like on anything else. So that's the way I get around it. But I did for that one when I knocked it down, immediately try to spin the camera around. I've done it for Uncharted 2, where you spin the camera and try to get a nice shot or frame it up so that when it pops, but. Then there's the other ones where you just have to do something super annoying or super cumbersome, and then it just gets whatever the hell loading screen garbage. Really upsets me sometimes.
Well, if it bothers you, just be ready for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Trey says part 2 for both Greg and Andrea. I can't seem to complete Naughty Dog games. Why? I played through Uncharted Drake's Fortune, and that's as far as I got. I have the Uncharted collection and Uncharted 4 on PS4, as well as own the originals on PS3. Even The Last of Us didn't absorb me the way I expected. As a longtime PlayStation fan, why can't I get into these games? It's on you, man. You gotta look. You gotta look inside on that.
They're all great games, and so many of them have had such fantastic endings.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to like spoil any endings here, but like, why would you not want to finish them? I guess if you are the type of gamer who likes a lot of nonstop action, perhaps that's why these games aren't grabbing you, because there is action, but it's really like the focus is more
character building,
exactly.
Relationships,
exactly.
And that's the thing, I guess. Like, I think you're saying in so many words, you don't like that kind of game experience. You do want action. You don't want. I'm going to talk to Ellie about whatever, triangle above her head. She's talking about this movie poster. Yeah, you don't want to run through it, which is totally fine. You're wrong, and you should play those, but I'm wrong and don't play a lot of things I should play, I know. I'm going to do 2 more. Why not Pete's the first one? The rest of the year is stacked with great games, which has me worried that there could be some games that struggle to sell in this competitive marketplace. Please order the following list of games from most to least likely to flop commercially. The list goes because you can play at home. Mario Cross Rabbids Kingdom Battle, Agents of Mayhem, Knack 2, The Evil Within 2, Vampire. Vampire with a Y, of course. So
this is tough because all of these games I've heard good things from at least one person about all of these games.
Yeah.
So the idea that we have to pick which one's going to flop commercially versus critically.
Is that well he
says commercially.
You're right.
Okay.
Right.
So we're doing
least likely to flop's Mario Rabbids.
Oh yes, that's least likely.
You know what I mean? We have 5 games here, so that's all right. But then I'm doing this actually the opposite. We're just building the list with you. All right. So Mario is least likely. So I'm putting it down there, and I guess then I'll count that as 1. Right? That makes sense because 1 is least likely, 5's most likely.
Yeah.
5 gets interesting.
Let's build our way there.
Okay.
I would say 2 is The Evil Within 2.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because the first one did pretty well commercially.
And it's one of those, like, it's a sequel. It's got a good buzz around it. I didn't even play Evil Within 1, but like the fact that people did enjoy it and now they have another one, I'm like interested to see what that's all about. All right. I would say next, here's the problem, and I'll be 100% honest with you, Andrea. I don't know a goddamn thing about Vampire.
Okay, so this is from, oh my gosh, I know the team that did this. Brittany talked to me about this. She saw it at E3. It is, so it's a Focus Home Interactive, Don't Nod, so the people who made Life is Strange.
Oh,
so it's, so there's a conversational narrative element to the game, similar to what was in Life is Strange, but it's a little bit different. Obviously, it's vampires. From everything that she told me about the game, it sounded cool. Okay. The screenshots look good. I enjoyed what I played from
Life
Don't Nod
is Strange
in the past.
Gameplay where I'm walking around talking to people?
I think there's more action.
Okay.
So I would say I would maybe put that at number 2.
You mean?
I think
wait.
I think Knack 2 is number 3 here. I think it's in the middle of the pile.
So we're saying most to least now. Mario, Evil Within. I think Knack 2 is the next one.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think we agree
Just
there.
making sure. And then you think Vampire.
And then I think
3?
Vampire.
Wow, okay.
Because I think that concept is just a little hard to explain.
Yeah.
And as awesome as Life is Strange was, I don't know if this concept is going to resonate far and wide.
So here's my thing. Obviously, I've been beating the drum against just not even against Agents of Mayhem. Just the fact that nobody's talking about it. It's a very confusing idea. We have only 4 people are interested in it.
4?
List, of course. recent episode of Games Daily. We've covered this extensively. People who are excited in Ages of Mayhem, it's Angry Dad 82, who's written in twice about it. The guy from Twitter, the kindoffunny.com/kindoffunny Games Daily guy, and then Rydog5. This is all just cool Greg graffiti. Don't pay attention to that. But then I said after this that we wouldn't accept any more people for the list because now you're just writing in to get your name on the list, and I understand that. The real Ages of Mayhem vibe isn't there. But the problem is Vampire. Is it just downloadable? Is it all platforms? What are we looking at there?
Okay.
Because there's more.
Let's get the
Ages of Mayhem is going to be everywhere.
It's coming to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC in November.
Okay.
Upcoming action role-playing video game. Developed by Don't Nod, published by Focus Home Interactive.
And Brittany likes it. Brittany's excited about it.
She liked it.
She's a huge fucking dork. So
she likes a lot of weird stuff, though.
I know. But with the weird stuff she likes, there's like, she's in the niche about it. She's in the niche, if you want to say it like that.
I will say she doesn't like bad stuff. She just likes weird stuff.
Good point.
She's not
that's the thing. Knowing little to nothing about Vampire, I still believe more in Vampire than I do Agents of Mayhem. Again, not because Volition's bad, not because anything like that. I'm sure the game will be quality to it. I'm just saying I don't think anybody knows what the fuck it is, and the fact that it's out in 2 weeks is pretty alarming. That we don't know anything, that people don't care.
Do you want me to read a little blurb about it?
About Agents of Mayhem or Vampire? Vampire, please.
Vampire's main character, Jonathan E. Reed, is learning to deal with changes he's undergoing as a new vampire.
Sounds
a high-ranking military surgeon who was transformed into a vampire upon his return home from the front meets a couple of interesting characters who either want him to embrace his newfound darkness or help him run away from it. They published a 10-minute gameplay segment that was noticeably absent from Sony's PlayStation conference.
You son of a bitch.
Focuses on the story that players will work their way through in the game and the difficult choices they will have to make. But there was a glimpse of combat as well. Released this November.
Can I see? Do you have a screenshot for me?
Yeah, you want to see a little bit of this?
I do want to see a little bit of that. Hold on. Oh, here we go. Okay. We're looking at the video.
For everyone who's listening, there is Greg is watching a little bit of gameplay.
Cool, Greg. Do you know how to Skycam? Can you Skycam?
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me full screen this. This is your new computer, huh?
This is my new computer.
Do you like it?
So far, so good. Yeah. I was talking on Twitter yesterday about how useless that touch bar is, but.
Well, yeah, it looks. I mean, it's very pretty. Oh, there you go. And there comes the choices. Oh, here comes some of the combat. Jimmy the Spark Barlow. Yeah, I'm going to say that this is going to do better than Agents of Mayhem. It looks more interesting. I'm more intrigued about it.
Yeah.
Well, I know you kids love vampires out there. You're all goth and doing your thing, drinking each other's blood. That's what the kids are about.
And it comes out in November, not too far after.
There's time to build to it. There's time to build excitement for it still.
Exactly.
Whereas I feel like Agents of Mayhem, the window is closed.
I think it is, and it's tough because I know the team making that game.
Volition's awesome.
And they have such a great reputation making these wacky, over-the-top open world games.
Remind me again of it's the betas like right now, and then the release date is the release.
It's coming up really quickly.
Exactly. I think it's the end of August, right? And it was like the first week of August. There was a. I don't care that much about the beta part of it. Just like when it's coming out.
I thought there was a date. Let me look.
Thank you.
As always, if you guys are wanting to correct us for something we got wrong.
But give us a chance to figure it out before you do. Because I know the corrections are going to be all over the NPD thing today. As I was wrong, and I'm sorry. I felt off my game at the beginning of the show.
It just says later this month.
For the game?
I'm surprised that they don't have a specific date.
No, they do for the game for sure. Or is that the beta you're looking at?
No, I didn't hear anything about a beta. Okay. I don't know why there'd be a beta. It's single player.
But there was something. It doesn't matter. With this all stems from. Oh, maybe they went gold. There was something we did a thing of like this is happening on this date, and then the game comes out this date.
Yeah,
but
somebody.
I forget what it was.
I think Will Powers, who works for Deep Silver, who's publishing, tweeted copies of the game. I think like the physical copy to be like, hey, look at.
There was
printed.
A news story. That's where it all stemmed from. But just whatever. You keep looking.
Okay.
But I think
August 15th is when it's coming out.
Yeah, see, that game's fucked. Sorry, straight up. Like I can't. So yeah, least successful to most successful: Agents of Mayhem, Vampire, Knack 2, Evil Within 2, Mario.
Yes.
That is our official prediction for you. Why not, Pete? Keep track of it. Let us know what kind of funny games. Kindoffunny.com/games daily.
Somebody already tweeted the Rock Band to the Stars Vimeo.
Hell yeah, they did. They're all over it. What time is it?
It is 1:01 p.m.
Oh, okay. We had no clock. I had nothing. I didn't know where I was at anymore. I'm lost in a haze over here. The last question comes from Gundam Haze, and it'll be super short. Everybody stick with me. He run into kindoffunny.com/KFGD, and he says, Minecraft on PS4 or Vita? PS4. He had a whole long thing about it. He's like, I'm a music teacher in Illinois. His wife, I have a 7-year-old, never played Minecraft, want to get into. If it's a real choice, you do PlayStation 4. It's a much more fleshed out version of the game. Not the Vita version's wrong if you only can play on the go or something and you want to play it on Vita. I did that for a long, long time before the Switch version showed up. Get in there. Now, time to squad up. This is where one of you beautiful bastards writes into kindoffunny.com/KFGD. You give me your username on whatever platform you need friends for. You tell me why you need those friends, and I read it here. Then the best friends who watch and listen to this show find you on those platforms, play the game with you, and everybody's happy. Today, Philip from Austria writes in with a PlayStation 4 username. This is one that doesn't make sense in English, so I'm inclined to say this is a bad PSN name. Maybe it means something in another language, though. Guenzicha. Guenzicha. Sorry if I offended a culture. I've been playing all the Everybody's Golf's games since the first one on PSP, and I am still occasionally playing the Vita version, which is the best one, regardless of what Greg thinks. You're wrong. It's not the best one, not by a long shot. Hot Shots Golf, Open T, PSP, best one. Not even PSP, not even the second one. I'm just telling you straight up. I also have the Platinum, which is extremely rare and apparently too hard for Greg. You can go fuck yourself. Why am I even reading this anymore? I've been looking forward to this game for years, and unfortunately, I will miss the launch due to being on holiday with my family. Some fan you are. But I would like some best friends to play tournaments with and compare daily scores with when I return in early September. Thank you guys and gals for the fantastic work you're doing. I was really heartbroken when PS I Love You XOXO ended, since I've been listening to Beyond for years, but the games daily is a great substitute, even though I missed the PlayStation focus a little bit. You're right. I'm all up in here telling you about all the Xbox stuff. I'm an Xbox expert over here. Greetings from Austria. That's in Europe. Philip. Thank you, Philip. I need to know where Austria is. Everybody, I should read the name again since it's gibberish, unless it's something that means a lot to him. Guenzicha on PlayStation 4. Get ready for Everybody's Golf. I can't wait. All day stream here when that pops. It's going to be really great. Andrea.
Yes, Greg.
You are now going to go to kindoffunny.com/you're wrong and read all the stuff that the people who are watching live corrected us on.
You got it. First thing wrong was Greg not complimenting Andrea's necklace on the restart. Shake my head.
I said I wasn't going to do that on the restart, and we were hiding from people what the restart did. Be a bro. Don't throw us under the bus telling us what the restart did when we said we were going to say what the restart did.
Greg said the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy was charted in the month of June after 2 days of sales. It was actually released June 30th, and that was the last day of the month, so Crash Bandicoot charted after 1 day of sales. You're wrong, Miller.
Yep,
Heart.
it's true. It's true.
The NPD for the top 20 games of June, which we looked up at number 4. That's not a you're wrong. Defamation suits can only be at most 7 years, so this is in reference to the Miss Cleo story, after the first publication of the content in question, though Connecticut may have changed their defamation suits since I last checked. The statute of limitations on copyright infringement is 3 years in the U.S. since first publication. At the latest, it's been 4 years since Vice City was released on Fire OS. That's an interesting side note that I didn't think about.
Yeah.
Kindles and Fire TV. So the Psych Network has no case. The network also sued General Mills a few years back for a similar issue when Miss Cleo was used in a cereal commercial.
All right, cool.
Interesting.
Thank you very much, legal expert.
These are not your wrongs.
Stop editorializing.
Andrea said that the movement speed has been increased in Paragon. Only attack speed and ability cooldowns are being modified. Thank you for that clarification. I apologize if I misrepresented myself. It just feels faster because you're throwing your things faster.
Exactly. I hate throwing my things faster.
Thank you for that correction. Sorry, Greg, but I don't know if this is a correction. Sorry, Greg, but I want to help the broke college kid with the loud PS4. Spend $10 on a T8 security screwdriver and watch a YouTube video and dust out your system. It'll silence that fan and keep your system cooler.
That's true.
So, not a you're wrong, but a helpful tip.
But just like me, he wants to buy the PlayStation 4 Pro. He just needs something to happen. He needs it to die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like yesterday.
He needs an excuse.
The PlayStation 4 did something wonky, and I was like, is it time? Is it here? No, not yet. Okay.
You work in video games. You can buy a new PS4 whenever you want.
But it's not. I don't want to. I'm not going to be wasteful. And then what am I going to do? I got a PlayStation 4 with my name engraved on it. I'm not going to get rid of that thing. I got a PlayStation 4 this 20th anniversary PlayStation 4. I'm not going to get rid of the. Getting a new one just adds more shit to the walls and the cabinets in the house.
You're fine. Vampire is going to get buried in November, something that we didn't think about. But it's not in comparison to the other games. It's in comparison just to the games that we listed.
Exactly. And I think that Vampire has a better chance of finding an audience that's going to really dig it, to buy copies of it, to make it more successful than Agents of Mayhem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, cool. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Kinda Funny Games Daily. Thank you so much for watching and or listening. Remember, you can catch us as we record it live on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, but we don't interact with you. That's where You're Wrong comes in. You can, of course, watch it later on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames or listen on podcast services around the globe. Regardless of where you get it, thank you very much for consuming it. It would mean a lot if you subscribe to the other platforms and rated them there. But hey, I'm not going to twist your arm. We are close to 1,000 reviews on iTunes. It'd be cool if you did that. But again, you do you. You got things to do. You got places to be. I understand. Things to promote, really, I'm thinking.
I'm streaming today.
That's a good one. Twitch.tv/
What's Good Games.
I was getting there. The kinda was in the back of my throat, so I had to cut it off real quick and get there.
I haven't decided what I'm streaming yet. I'm going to make a decision on the fly.
What time is it happening?
6 p.m. Pacific.
6 p.m. Okay. Play Friday 13th.
I was thinking about it.
Yeah, hell yeah, you were. Yeah.
I was like, maybe I could play Fortnite, but then I was like, that's probably real boring to watch, so maybe not.
Yeah.
I was thinking about Iron Banner since it's like the last hurrah.
Okay.
I'm thinking about it. If you guys have thoughts, if you want to come watch the stream, tweet to me. Let me know what you want me to play.
I would try to join you for Friday 13th, but I can't commit to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
A soft commitment.
Exactly.
Penciled in.
It's an interest. There's a hard interest, a soft commitment. And then, right now, you can watch the Gamescast with Andrea later today, patreon.com/kindoffunnygames live. It'll be up on Friday for everybody else. I haven't done any graphics for this because I'm lazy and, well, not lazy, actually, really overworked. But Monday, we're going to stream all of Batman Season 2, Episode 1 with Troy Baker and Anthony Gruber.
Oh, Troy's going to be here?
Yep.
I might have to crash.
Come on by, please. You know that. Anytime. We'll do it right after Kinda Funny Games Daily on Monday. So that's that for now. We'll be back tomorrow, us again. So address questions there. And until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.